Hi, everyone, and welcome to class 19. I think this is 19 of my advanced level English course. And today we will be talking about noun phrases. In the last class, we saw how we can use relative clauses to give more information about nouns. In this class, we'll be following on from that subject by looking at other ways that we can give more information about nouns by using noun phrases. So, yeah, a noun phrase is basically a group of words which gives us more information about a noun. So, for example, if we have the noun book, we can call this in a noun phrase a head noun. This is the main noun in our noun phrase, but I'm going to actually construct a noun phrase. So we're going to start off with a noun, book, and we can add other words to create a noun phrase. So the first thing we can add is a determiner. So here we've added the determiner a. So now we have two words, a book. It doesn't have to be a. There are other determiners that we could use. For example, we could say my book or your book or his book. We could say the book. We could say this book, or we could use some other determiner. But now we have two words in our noun phrase, this book or a book. Let's add another word. What else can we add? We could add an adjective, and we could say an interesting book. An interesting book. We could also add an adverb of degree, and say a very interesting book. A very interesting book. What else could we add to this noun phrase? We could add another noun, a noun that gives us more information about the head noun, a psychology book. Here we're using psychology as an adjective. So it's a noun adjunct is the correct term for this. Actually, in the next class, I will go into this in more depth because the next class will be about compound nouns. But here we're using psychology which is a noun as an adjective to give us more information about the book. So now we have the noun phrase, a very interesting psychology book. So we started off with book, and now we have a very interesting psychology book. So we now know a lot more about the book. What else can we add? Can we add anything else? We could add a prepositional phrase, for example, about dreams. A very interesting psychology book about dreams. So now we have quite a long noun phrase. We have a determiner, a. We have an adverb, very. We have an adjective, interesting. We have a noun acting as an adjective, psychology. We have the head noun, book. And finally, at the end, we have the prepositional phrase. So this is how we can form a noun phrase. And this is the order of the words that we would use to form the noun phrase. Just to be clear, a book, an interesting book, a very interesting book, a very interesting psychology book, and a very interesting psychology book about dreams. All of those are classified as noun phrases. So you don't need to use all the elements. You don't need to use an adverb, an adjective, a noun, another noun to describe the second noun, and a prepositional phrase. It's not necessary to use all those things to form a noun phrase. We could also add at the end something else. We could add a relative clause, and we could say, a very interesting psychology book about dreams that I read recently. How could we use this noun phrase in a sentence? Let's have a look. She wrote a book. It's on psychology. It's about dreams. It's very interesting. I read it recently. So instead of saying all those sentences, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sentences, I could just say she wrote a very interesting psychology book about dreams that I read recently. Or maybe it would be better to say she is the author of a very interesting psychology book about dreams that I read recently. Let's have a look at some more examples. He won the match with that shot that he judged perfectly. He won the match with that shot that he judged perfectly. So here, match refers to a sports match, like a football match, or could be a basketball match. And the shot is when somebody throws the ball into the net in basketball or kicks the ball into the goal in football. He won the match with that shot that he judged perfectly. Sounds a bit awkward. We're using that he judged perfectly as a relative clause. Instead of using a relative clause, we could use a noun phrase and we could say, he won the match with that perfectly judged shot. Sounds much better, much more natural. Let's have a look at another example. I went to see a film. It was great. It was science fiction. It's a very strange way of talking, just breaking everything down into simple sentences. Much better to say, I went to see a great science fiction film. Or if you're using American English, I went to see a great science fiction movie. Let's look at some more complex structures that we might wish to use in written English, especially if we were writing academic papers or something like that. Because noun phrases allow us to take multiple ideas and compress them into one noun phrase. Let's have a look at an example. Children play video games. They play them for long hours. It affects their eyesight. How can we use a noun phrase to compress these three ideas into one simple phrase? The prolonged playing of video games by children has a negative effect on their eyesight. Let's look at a few more examples. She gave a speech. It was very powerful. It inspired young women. Her remarkably powerful speech that inspired young women went viral overnight. People migrate to cities. They do it in large numbers. It creates pressure on resources. Think about how you could compress these into a noun phrase. And I'll give you the answer now. The large-scale migration of people to cities puts enormous pressure on resources. Scientists study the ocean. They do it continuously. It helps predict climate change. Think about how you can compress these ideas into a noun phrase. And I'll give you the answer. The continuous scientific study of the ocean plays a crucial role in predicting climate change. If you're writing an academic paper or writing anything, sounds much better like this than the three sentences that I've got above. Just a couple more examples. Teachers use new technology. It is innovative. It engages students better. The use of innovative technology by teachers has significantly improved student engagement. And the last one, students use phones. They use them a lot. It is a problem in schools. How can you compress these ideas into a noun phrase? The excessive use of phones by students is a growing concern in schools. Okay, very good. That's all on this subject. As I've stated a few times already, a subject that is related to this is compound nouns. We saw some compound nouns. We saw one compound noun, I think. But we also saw some examples where nouns were modifying other nouns, which is very common in English. And that will be the subject of the next class. So thank you very much for watching this class, and I hope to see you again very soon. Goodbye.